Last Saturday, we kicked off our Getting Your Finances Right series with budgeting, i.e., income versus expenditure. Today, we're looking at couples' joint accounts because, in my opinion, everything starts from the nuclear family. Man and woman are the starting points of everything. So, surely having a joint account shouldn't be a problem, or should it? What I want to know is, does having a joint account with your spouse or partner make sense? Let's have our guest, Omi Oshikoya, answer this for us. Some of you may remember Omi from last Saturday when she simplified personal budgeting for us. She's the financial expert who wears many finance-centered hats. Today, she's wearing the hat of a woman who has been married for 15 years and experienced firsthand how personal fears of financial insecurity can ruin a marriage. She's also the best-selling author of The Richer Woman, where she tells her story of marital challenges in its early years. The Richer Woman community for women who are on the journey to wealth is a product of her book. Omi and her husband, John Oshikoya, mentor young people and couples through their Basis for Marriage seminars. Welcome again, Omi.
Yay.
It's lovely to have you back again. So, first things first.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's. I'm wearing red. Is there anything wrong with having a joint bank account?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I think it's the motive. Why are you having it? Is it because it just sounds right, or is it actually effective for you? Is it something that everybody should have in their marriage, or is it something that is unique to a particular couple? So I think it's more than just, oh, you should have a joint account because you want to be married. You actually may not even have a joint account, but you're actually more united, are more transparent than people that actually have joint accounts but then do other things at the end. And sometimes having a joint account could actually even cause problems in the marriage. As for some that don't have joint accounts, they may actually be better off. So it's relative, it's not subjective.
Okay, so before you explain what you mean by it's relative, is it something that applies to couples who are not married, or is it just for Mr. and Mrs. X?
If you're not married, I think with marriage kind of, I don't know how to put it, but there's some kind of security. So if you're not married and then you have a joint account, if you break up, you can break up with someone today, but if you're married to someone, you can break up with them, but there's still a bit of a process, right? So when you are not married and you have a joint account, I think you may be putting yourself more at risk if you do break up and then you're now trying to sort out all sorts of financial things. So I actually would not recommend it because of just the process of the fact that there's no security in the relationship.
What if the couple says, oh, we're engaged to be married?
Okay, fair enough. Same thing, you're still engaged, people still break up before, some people break up the day before. So I would say when you're married, I mean, it's good to have those kind of conversations and say, okay, this is what we desire to do when we get married. If you're engaged and you're 100% sure, I don't know if anybody is really 100% sure, then you can consider. But I think it's about, why do you want to have a joint account in the first place? Let's talk, because you can still achieve the same goal without actually having it.
Right.
And you can have a joint account for a specific purpose, but still maintain your separate account.
Exactly. So the question initially was, does it make sense? And I would like you to break that down. You've touched on it, but I'd like you to please break it down.
Okay. So I would use myself as an example. Or maybe not even use myself as, let's even be abstract and generic for now. So a couple say, or rather, you're married, you should have a joint account because you're one. But there are many things to consider. Personality. What's your money personality? What if you're a spender, right? And someone is more frugal? You're going to clash.
Yeah.
And even if you feel like you're a spender in one aspect and someone's more frugal, it may just be in terms of your preferences. So a man may prefer to buy gadgets, a woman may prefer to buy fragrance and household furniture, right? So it really depends. So in my situation, and also independence as well.
How so?
So you have a joint account, but there's sometimes you just want to go and have lunch, right? And you really don't want the situation where, especially with the economy, things that how things are in Nigeria, and then someone's checking and saying, "But you just had lunch," that kind of thing. You're not supposed to have spent this, So personally, what I would recommend, or what works for me, is you can decide that you want, what's the purpose, yeah? So you can have a utility joint account. So you live together, right? As a married couple, you live together and you decide that, we're going to have this account for bills, right? So all the household bills, you can even put school fees or whatever in there. And so you both agree to say, okay, if you're sharing responsibilities, so I bring in 50% of the total bills, I bring in 20% or whatever, and then you put it in that account.
Yeah.
So that account is for that purpose.
Yep.
That way, you're at liberty to still do the things you would like to do. Right? So there are times that I am driving and, I just want to indulge. I just want to go to the spa. I just want to, do something different. And I don't have to ask my husband's permission because I'm not, but however, if it was in that utility account, then you're taking for something that is not for the purpose, then you owe it to the person, your partner, you're accountable to say, okay, I would like to do that. For me, I think that kind of works out.
But doesn't that mean that you are lacking discipline? Because if you've opened a utility account, self-care is not utility.
Exactly. So, but if it wasn't a function of the fact that you already had a separate account, then you will call it lack of discipline. It may not be a lack of discipline that you want to go to the spa today. It may just you just want to treat yourself. You've had
you take it from your own account.
So you take it from your own account. That's what I'm saying. But if you didn't have that separate account and you all just had a joint account for every and anything, then those kind of things, someone will say it's indiscipline. When it's not indiscipline, I just want to.
That's why, for me personally, I don't think joint account makes sense.
I think again, it just goes for the purpose. So if you're saying you want to have, again, it doesn't have to work. So I know a couple that they were both earning really good money. She was very successful. He's very successful as well. And what they decided to do was, he would focus on the, monthly household, and her salary was more for like when they want to go on really nice summer holidays or make some investments. So they understood, they came to an agreement, they were unified, they were joint, so they may not have necessarily had a joint account. Because I feel like this whole joint account thing can actually cause more problems than solutions if you don't understand it. I think the first thing is not saying you want to have a joint account, but being unified, agreeing in your, disseminating your financial habits, your goals. Then you can decide, okay, are we going to have a full-on joint account? Because, for instance, if there's a woman that's not working and your husband is working and you have a joint account, right? So you may feel like it gives you more security. But what if you still have your own account and it gives you an allowance? Or on the flip side, a lot of women are earning more than their husbands now, right? So if on the same flip side as well, if they had a joint account, I just feel like it can cause unnecessary problems and stress. And life generally already has its own challenges. You don't need that. Do you understand? So I would say come together, determine, why you can have several joint accounts. But I think as an individual, as someone that's an adult, you should have your own. Have your own, something that that, and you can even decide what your own, you can come together and say, out of our monthly salary, we're going to have 100,000 naira each for our own thing, right? So you're still joined, but then I think there's that independence that's needed even in a marriage.
Yeah, that's you've actually touched on my next question, which was, how does this impact the individual and the joint couple? Yeah, in terms of their financial strength, stability, and independence. And that's what you're talking about now.
Because you're one, But at the same time, you're also, so you're two whole people that come together.
Two whole people with different sets of values, different beliefs, different
beliefs.
upbringing, different outlook on life,
Yes.
different everything.
Yeah, so you're coming together, and the fact that you even, and it's a good thing. So I don't want to make it seem like having a joint account is a bad thing. It's a good thing because it shows, okay, you realize that you're one. So I think that even before you go to the account part of it, you need to just be of the same mindset that you're one. So even if we may not have the same physical joint account, my money is our money, your money is our money in a relationship.
With a lot of relationships, the man's money is our money,
The
woman's money is
my
her money.
That's what we're told. That's what we're taught. But at the end of the day, right, you should be able to feel that, my money is our money, right? It doesn't matter where the money comes from. It shouldn't really matter because it's our money. And sometimes things are
if you're aligned in the other areas of your relationship.
That's the most important. So are you actually aligned? It's not, the joint account is just like a symptom, or I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say, but it's not the core thing. The core thing is the relationship. Are you aligned in your beliefs? Are you one, right? So that way you won't even worry if you don't have a joint account, because you know that you can take your husband's ATM card if you want it. Do you understand? You can do whatever so it's about understanding that you are one together, and then deciding, okay, in terms of how we're going to spend, how does it work for me? So find out what works for you. If a joint account works, because somebody may be excessive, maybe a spender, and may need that control, because the woman or the man may need to, okay, you know what, let me help you, so we can manage our money, almost like having a coach kind of thing, then you can have that joint account, right? But I just feel like people just say, oh, you must have, and if you don't have, you're not doing well in your marriage. No.
But there's some marriages where it's actually sometimes the husband who insists on having a joint account.
Okay.
And I hear sometimes that it's even a cultural thing, that
Really?
the husband is like, give me your money that you are earning.
Oh.
So in that case, so those are things that make me think,
another, that's not equality there. If it's about, so what about you give me your money? Do you understand? I think so. For someone like my husband and I, so like I said, we don't have a joint account. My husband has been saying it consistently. He's actually been saying that, oh, he wants to open an account or make me. Actually, I think what's even most important is making sure that your spouse is your next of kin. I think that's more important than even having a joint account, because life happens. So let me give you an example. I remember a friend of mine, her dad passed. Her parents are older. And the mom, it was like trying to scramble to quickly get money from the accounts before the banks would know.
no way.
Because once the banks know that the person has died,
They close the account.
yeah, so you have to go through, I think it's probate, before you can get funding. So almost another thing that I heard about
and that wouldn't have happened if they had a joint account.
So that won't have happened, because then she can just go and, you understand, get the cash, whatever. The same thing there was another couple where he was ill. I think he went in a coma. And they needed money to pay for treatments, and he was the sole provider, and he nobody knew. He was hiding some of the accounts. They didn't know where he had the accounts. Some of maybe they didn't have the pins. Do you understand? So who's wise at the end of the day? The person shuts himself in the foot. So that's why I say it's about transparency. So transparency, I know my husband's pins, he knows my pins. Right? I feel like we're one, so I don't even feel the need to monitor him. I know that he's not a spendthrift. I know that he's reasonable. I know that he puts the family first, right? So even if he indulges, I don't even care because I feel like you deserve it. You deserve to. So sometimes I may even just tease him. I like the, you're just, just teasing, but you're really looking, you've really gone to, spend kind of thing, just teasing, and like, you see him like, no, but Omi, I'm just like, I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing you. You know what I mean? But we understand each other and we realize that we are one first, and it's not determinant on whether we have a joint account or not.
Wow. So more importantly than the joint account, more importantly than joint account first is transparency and understanding that you're one.
Yes.
But you've now even touched on something that's even a completely different topic. Next of kin. So I'm going to double back again. Because I still don't have clarity. Does it make sense or does it not make sense to have a joint account? In 3 simple.
If it works for your marriage, then do it.
So 1, if it works for your marriage, do it.
Yes. Most importantly, are you one beyond the joint account? And how you should also have a mechanism for how do you solve conflicts that may arise from that joint account.
Conflict resolution.
Yes.
But if you're one, should there be conflict?
There shouldn't, but life happens, right? So the economy now, everything is expensive. People are on edge. People lose income. What if someone loses their job and another person is the one then funding, all the time, and there are issues within the marriage, you're just irritated. How would you solve that? Would you take it personally? Oh, but I'm the one that's bringing the money now. Why are you now, start getting angry at the person? So it's a marital thing. How secure is your marriage? Is the foundation of your marriage secure enough? I feel like that's what's important, so that whatever arises from having the joint account, you will solve it, right? I think I don't know if it's the same thing, but almost the same thing as whether I should get a prenup or not.
Very true, actually. It's a very, very similar comparison. Is your foundation solid?
Is your marriage solid?
Is your marriage solid?
If your marriage is solid, the joint account will work for you. And if it's solid, even if you don't have a joint account, you would survive. You'd work. You would thrive. So
it depends on the solidity. It depends on the solidity of your marriage to even determine whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. But you've also talked about the fact that you can have a joint account and you can have personal accounts.
Yes, so you can have a joint account. So that's what I would recommend to my clients. I would say have a joint account that you can call it a purpose account. Have a joint account for a purpose. So education account, or a utility account, investment account, have an account for a purpose. Before even if you're saving, whatever you're doing, you should have a goal in mind. Why are you saving? You're not just saving. Have an emergency account, have something for leisure, whatever it is. But
so essentially just be deliberate about it.
Yes, but I think everybody should just have their own account.
You can have your joint account, but you should also have your own account.
Yes. And
but if you don't have a joint account,
that's an account that you're hiding. Not that you're hiding.
That's
transparent.
Another thing again.
Transparency. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Omi. Again, it's been awesome. It's been amazing. And I've definitely learned a thing or two. And I hope everybody has as well. So thank you so much for coming back.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can't wait to have you again and again and again.
I'll be there.
Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for a few more minutes as we round up the show.